Wicked here in the studio. Well, not really in the studio, in the Duke City. We got a little bit of Wicked in the studio this morning. Madame Morrible discovers Elphaba's talent for sorcery on the day the girl arrives at Shiz and insists upon training her personally, as well as suggesting that the wizard she be brought to before him by making his magic grand vizier. Is that
Vizier.
Vizier. I've
mean,
got Madame Morrible next to me, correcting my pronunciation of this.
Who knows? I looked it up because I had no idea what that word was.
I didn't either. I was
and
like,
I don't know if
Madame
it's an
Morrible.
Aussieism, but no, it's in the dictionary, and it means grand master.
I'm wondering if it found its way. Maybe it was an
Into-
Aussieism, in the same way that
No, it's in the
se-
dictionary.
But selfies now, like in a dictionary,
No,
and you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. You mean after Wicked, they added it to Webster's.
Exactly. Like
okay.
the show is so popular
Right.
that it's got to go
and
in
also,
there.
thanks for giving away my entire story on the show, so that now everybody knows.
Exactly.
You gave away
It's
all
like
my
Titanic.
secrets.
Don't the boat sinks at the end. Anyway, Kim Zimmer is with us this morning with the touring company of Wicked. Kim, so let's talk about this production going on. This is not the first time you've played this role.
No, I did 15 months before.
15 months before. What brought you back to the role?
Well, it's the perfect. My character of Madame Morrible is the perfect role in a musical theater production, especially for a woman my age. There's not a lot. I don't have to stress over it. I get great little juicy lines, and I get a couple of little singing moments, and I get to say all the bad things and all the funny things. So it's the perfect role, and in a perfect show.
Yeah.
I mean, I call this a perfect musical.
Yeah.
I think it's just it touches something in everybody's heart.
It's got a bit of everything in it.
Absolutely.
It really does. Even if, and I went in, I'm not a huge Wizard
Musical-
of Oz fan, but I came from theater, so I've got an appreciation for musical theater, but it really, I mean, it drags you in
It does.
and you just have a great time
Especially,
with it.
I was saying, men come kicking and screaming with their wives or their families or their daughters or whatever, and they just, I can see them in the audience, just, they're mesmerized.
Yeah.
And they're so glad they came.
So Wicked, not obviously you have had a long career both on stage and screen. Let's talk about your career in television. Of course, a lot of people remember you from Guiding Light.
Right.
What was your experience like working on that show?
That was, well, for all the reasons I loved it were the reasons I left it for 5 years. It becomes your second family. It actually becomes your first family. Oh, there's the clone.
Yeah.
This was a story that everybody hated until they decided to kill the clone. And then everybody was like, you're copping out so much on this storyline. You can't kill the clone. We love her now.
Yeah.
They named her. She was Dolly every time I walked. They cloned a sheep. Remember when they
Oh, that's
That's
right.
where they got this story.
That's where Dolly.
So they gave me the name Dolly.
No
So every time I walked
kidding.
on the set, the crew would go, "Bah." I guess you had to be there.
That had to be kind of weird walking on set. They're ready for you, Miss Zimmer, and you walk on.
Oh, and we're ready for you as well, Ms. Zimmer. I mean, yeah. That was great. That was the most challenging thing I've ever done, is playing those two characters. I was learning like 90 pages of dialogue a day.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is incredible.
Because I had to learn both sides of the
So
character.
between the two, working in television, you've had a long career both on television and in film and on stage. What is your favorite? What do you enjoy most as an artist?
Well, I'm sure you know, there's nothing like a live audience because you get that instant knowledge of whether you're succeeding or failing.
Right.
I mean, it's right there in your face. You know whether something's good or whether something's bad. Whereas you were just talking about the CW show you were on. You shoot 8 episodes, you don't know until the shows air. You've already shot them, and then they say, "Oh, sorry, you're off the air."
Yeah,
you know, so you don't get. Storylines on soaps we'd be 6 weeks ahead, and they'd be doing this story, and they'd be writing ahead of the story that was airing, and then they would get the feedback from the audience, and they're in a story that the audience hates. So then all of a sudden it's just it's ended.
Yeah.
And even though they have another 6 weeks to learn to love that story,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
is this too confusing? I mean, it's
No,
just
we
weird.
gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So I love theater. I love theater.
Yeah.
There's nothing like theater.
So now you're going to be with this touring production through the end of this run, which
with
wraps
the
up in
national
Los
tour.
Angeles. Is
Yes,
that right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so folks can still get a chance to see the show. It is running through October 5th.
Through October 5th. If you're in Vegas, we'll be there. If you're in San Diego, we'll be there, and then we'll be in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. And
But
you've got
come
an
and see us
extended run in
here.
LA, right? About like 4 months or something?
We aren't at liberty to say
Not at
yet.
liberty to say. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
For February 1st for sure.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
and then we're hoping that, maybe
All right.
we'll
Yeah, well, a little closer to home, guys. Again, October 5th, tickets still available.
Yes.
Go to unmtickets.com. Of course, we will have links on our website at casa.com. Click on the Style tab. Such a pleasure to see you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.